Titans in Destiny 2 seem to only exist in extremes. They're either busted or completely garbage, and despite occupying two of the best subclasses currently right now, I'm not entirely satisfied with their design. To break this down, Titans rarely have a strong neutral game in PvP. Usually it is a busted exotic or one aspect that keeps them in the meta. For examples, there were periods where One-Eyed Mask was busted and gave you the ability to have wall hacks and overshields and heal when you kill somebody just for them challenging you to a 1v1. Busted. That was not a subclass specific thing, it was just One-Eyed Mask being broken. Peacekeepers have had an interesting history. When they first came out, they were like the least used exotic in the game, and then they started getting popularity. Then Void 3.0 came out, and then they became one of the most used exotics in the game. And Peacekeeper, with the overshield on demand, you just hit a button, plus 40 to you and your team. Shire's came out, Immortal came out, and that really made Peacekeepers a problem. Yes, they nerfed SMGs, but it just wasn't enough. There was a period where I felt like SMGs were pretty good when they had like checkmate and it took more body shots, and if you were accurate you could still compete, but they kind of seem to be just doing away with checkmate. That's a whole nother video. And then there was the period with Loreley Splendor. Loreley Splendor, Solar Titan got nerfed because Loreley Splendor was going to come out. They nerfed it preemptively for this exotic. That's how it worked out chronologically. This exotic ended up being too broken. It was allowing people to just sit behind rally barricades and one-shot people with things like to the head with Ariana's, body shot people with Arbalist, Lorenz Driver, Wish Ender, not body shot, but you know what I mean. And so this got nerfed, and that left Solar Titan in ruins when it came to PvP. Syntheseps used to be a problem in PvP. You could just fly in, especially in 6s, and just start one-punching everybody. Back in the day when it took 3 melees to kill, you get 1 melee, right? Kill, you get your overshield, and be able to start one-punching everybody. Broken. Not really a subclass thing, an exotic. ACD feedback fences. You kind of see that occasionally now, and it is kind of like a little cheese, but it's mostly like on glaive builds or strand builds, and it's very niche. What about the period where we had Sight in Rampids, where you were getting punished for not even being able to challenge somebody? They could just hold lane and shoot through their shoot-through wall, and you couldn't shoot them, and it was like a regular health shoot-through wall with the same cooldown. That was beyond busted. Then you look at Antaeus wards. Holy crap, was that annoying. You could just slide for free and shotgun everybody, and then you had the Juggernaut aspect, then you had Knockout. Arc Titans were so annoying when they first came out, right? They've never been strong and not busted. They're either busted or just garbage. Storm Nades. How annoying were Storm Nades? Dune Marchers. Dune Marchers are fine, except for that 5-month period where they would triple chain, so one of your teammates would get punched and you'd die to just a triple chain bug. That lasted for like 4 months. They're Peregrines in its current state. I think it's cheesy that a shoulder charge can one-shot, regardless of exotic. Busted. I have nearly 4,000 hours on Titan, 1,300 hours on Hunter, 2,000 hours on Warlock. I love all of the classes, but the thing that Titans lack is nuance and neutral game. Their neutral game is usually supplemented by a busted exotic. And if you run out of exotics, you run out of subclass viability in endgame PvP. Right now, there are probably 3 exotics that are really good. One-Eyed Mask is still good for that lane playstyle. Dune Marchers is still good for just running a hand cannon shoddy, you know, the usual sweat loadout, and Peregrines. I don't think SMGs are in a very good spot right now. I think you could just run a lightweight SMG and you could probably run the Ophidian's exotic mark and call it good. I think you're better off if you're going to be running an SMG, because the best pairing with them are snipers, and snipers aren't very good right now. Then you should probably run a double primary, and if you're running a double primary, I'd run a sidearm. I just think sidearms are better. I love SMGs, I'm going to keep running it, but that's just my thoughts. But most of the Titan abilities or synergies are usually based on, I get a kill, now I profit. Now, I do like high risk, high reward playstyles, but I think sometimes the reward is too high, and maybe the risk isn't enough. I think currently, what I do with Shiver Strike in RG grenade launcher into a Shiver Strike is enough of a risk, because any slow, any decoy, any smoke, any shotgun, any fusion, even the Void Warlock melee, there are ways to stop that Shiver Strike from connecting to you, and every class has an option. I think at the end of the day, though, Titans will always be a little bit oppressive and a little bit unhealthy because of barricades. I think towering barricades aren't healthy for the game. They ruin the pace of the game. They enable you to have bad positioning, and I think they're unhealthy for a sandbox that has snipers. I think it is very annoying for a sniper to get a pick and then a Titan walk up and res it for free because he has a tower and barricade. My solution to that would be rally barricades stay in the game. You can use that for PvP, PvE. No one wants a tower and barricade in the well for damage phase anyways. That's how you rocket yourself to death. And I'd replace tower and barricade with thruster on every subclass. Now I know you're thinking thruster is super good, super powerful, whatever, but movement in a bad player's hand or an average player's hand is just going to make them die faster. It's only going to be a skill expression or something amazing in a good player's hand. So I think that would be healthier for the sandbox. But there's a lot of things that I would love changed about Titan, but right now I think that the top 5 subclasses, like in order, is Prism Titan, Dawnblade, and I think Dawnblade's balanced. It's just good. It's always been good. The only problem with it was and they fixed that. Prism Warlock, Prism Hunter, Bubble Titan. Reason why I think Bubble Titan's back in the top 5 is Storm's Edge, the Hunter Super, was moved, or is going to be moved, from a tier 3 to a tier 1. That was the biggest counter to Bubble, and why you didn't see it that often. Now you're going to see Bubble again. And with Bubble, you're going to see Conditional. This game is a cycle. Warlocks are in the middle of the seesaw. Hunters and Titans go back and forth, go back and forth. Besides that 1 week with Kvostov and Speaker Sight and Chaos Reach meta, Warlocks have been usually viable, but never really oppressive. Every one of their subclasses, except for Arc, has something to offer. Arc basically got absorbed by Prismatic. Sorry, Arc. Warlocks, there's nothing there that really helps you. Oh, you want Arc Soul? Run Getaway. Oh, you want Lightning Surge? Oh, you get 3 of them on Prismatic. But Stasis, you have one of the best aspects in the game. I think the best aspects in the game, in order, are, looking at my notes, I'm not scripting this, but I just want to make sure I don't have anything wrong. I think Invis is the best aspect in the game, and high level play. I think in a high level coordinated team, Invis is just amazing, and it just changes how you play the game completely. You ever play with a top tier Invis player, you'll know what I'm talking about. Icarus Dash, it has infinite uses. Infinite. Can bait out stuff, can 3-peek, it's on a low cooldown, speed, everything. Knockout on Titan. I don't consider Diamond Lance a top 5 because Diamond Lance requires you to have Knockout to get it, or a stasis ability to get it on Behemoth. So you need to pair something with Diamond Lance for Diamond Lance, where Knockout is just good no matter what. Makes you amplified, gives you all kinds of benefits. Then I think fourth is the turret, the stasis turret. Infinite uses. You can use that to babysit your teammates in trials. You can use that to hold down a res, to push a res, to watch an area so you can watch 2 lanes at once. There's infinite uses to that. Just because a lot of people who use it are bad with it doesn't mean it is bad. And number 5, I would still say, is the clone. The clone on Hunter gives you a radar ping, gives you deployable cover, a get out of jail free card. So many things in just one little aspect, one touch of the button, and just a plethora of utility that doesn't require a kill or anything. You notice that excluding Knockout, all of those aspects have insane neutral game that don't require you to kill or damage somebody. Titans are all about kill chaining, and I kind of wish that would change. I kind of wish that there was a more nuanced or more neutral game heavy Titan. I do think Prism Titan needs to have a nerf. I do not think it is Shiver Strike that is the problem. I think I have addressed that, but a lot of people have problems with it. I think the problem with Prismatic Titan is Knockout should not make a Diamond Lance. It should take my Shiver Strike or some type of grenade. Unfortunately, there's only really 2 grenades that are good that you could maybe get a kill, and that's Pulse or maybe Thermite, but I doubt it, or Suppressor, Primum Throw Suppressor. I think that it's much more healthy to have a playstyle that involves you pushing in, killing something, and then getting a reward like a Diamond Lance than it is to run away, throw a smoke, throw a turret, hide, knucklehead radar, Elsie's rifle. Now, I think both can exist. I don't want them gone, but I do think that it's healthier to reward aggression than it is to reward passive play. Now, after they nerf that on Titan, I think that'll drop this from like number 1 subclass in the game currently, because it was Prism Hunter, but after the nerfs I think it dropped out to like a B+. And I'll still use it. But besides that, all that's really viable would be Void, and you're just back to using an overshield and a bubble, or Stasis, which has big slide. Remember, we are going towards a meta of 1 of each class, because the Trials Lab is trying to have 1 of each class. Last time they did a Trials Lab like that, it was zone control, and look, we have zones. So, as far as Trials is concerned, I don't think Triple Behemoth will ever be a thing, and that would mean that if you're going to only have 1 Titan, and you're not going to be able to get the 1=3 anymore for free, you're most likely going to run Void Titan. And what that means is that's another subclass that doesn't have a lot of nuance. It's literally just pop a shield, wait for bubble. Most of them are going to be running Dunes, the hand cannon shotgun, or one-eyed mask, or if you actually know a thing or two about the game, Mask the Quiet One. While you have a Void super equipped, Final Blows grant Devour. That can happen when you are blows while critically wounded or double kills. This is slept on right now. I don't really know what else you could do on Titan. There's some niche playstyles with glaives and ACD feedback defense, but I don't really think most high-end PvP players are going to do that. I think some will still stick with Prismatic, but my point of this is I'm kind of tired of Titans having nothing but different flavored fist or busted exotics. I would love it if Prismatic never came out, and instead they gave us a subclass that had flavor and nuance and just really fun interactions like you get with Blink, Void Warlock, where you have like the buddy you send out with the Rift, the Child of the Old Gods, or Arc Buddy with Getaway Artist. Like, there's no cool, fun things on Titan that doesn't revolve around either a busted exotic or just I punch you, now I profit. And the game is a cycle. I know that after this nerf that will inevitably happen, another buff will happen, and we'll probably be back on top again for a little bit, and Warlocks will be happy in the middle again. But it just, the design of Titan and where they're going with PvP can be frustrating for me, and I would just love it if something on Titan was just a little bit more nuanced. The reason why I chose Peacekeepers back then is I value strafe. In the first game I played Mida Multi-Tool and Radiant Dance Machines. That's why the clan's called the SighDUX. I really liked Mida Multi-Tool, but it's bad in this game. And Radiant Dance Machines doesn't give you strafe anymore. I value strafe. There's not a lot of things that give you strafe, and that was my neutral game, and I understand why they got nerfed, but now that that's been nerfed, when I go and play Warlock for like a week or Hunter for a week, I really realize how one-dimensional the Titan playstyle is, and it would be nice if it wasn't like that, you know? And I say this as a person with 4,000 hours on Titan, 2,000 hours on Warlock, 1,200 hours on Hunter, 17,000 Trials matches. I've seen metas rise and fall, but Titans, for me, seem to lack the same consistency in neutral game compared to other classes. We have the 1 = 3, but it would be cool to have, like, something else. We'll see if upcoming patches change that. For now, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know, but please keep it respectful and civil. I will be moderating people who are being trolls or rude to other people for no reason. Just know I like all of the classes. This is not coming from a I love Titan and everything else sucks. I know when I've been busted, I know when I haven't. It just sucks that it's always reliant on an exotic or like one busted interaction. If you think about Prismatic Titan right before this video ends, the only thing it has is knockout equals Diamond Lance. You take that away, it's kind of just an okay class. And I still think it should be taken away, but it would be cool if when they give us something new in the future, that it was something nuanced and not just another busted thing. Thank you for all who watched. Thank you for all who will watch. And quack quack, mother duckers. And peace.